Kathleen Vasquez, Communications Director for Campaign Restaurant Colorado, and today we're excited to launch the Colorado Accountability Project. The Colorado Accountability Project is a statewide public education campaign about the overreach of power by the Republican leadership that led to the shutdown of the legislature this past May. Our legislators are elected to represent Coloradans and the best interests of the state. We seek to hold them accountable through shutting down our legislature with real solutions from real leaders. The project includes a radio campaign that will highlight the atrocity of the shutdown of the legislature and an overreach of power by the Republican leadership. The Colorado Accountability Project will begin today and run for 4 weeks on radio stations across the state, covering Pueblo, Colorado Springs, Western Colorado, and Metro Denver. The shutdown of the legislature in May blocks debate on more than 30 important bills, including measures lowering taxes on small businesses, improving public safety, and investing over $50 million in water projects, critical during one of the worst droughts in recent history, and many of these bills benefiting Colorado farmers and Colorado jobs. They thought we weren't paying attention. We were, and now's the time to remind the rest of Colorado. We have a couple of people with us today who will describe the impact of these bills and the action of Republican leadership on small business in Colorado. Richard Lewis joins us from RTL Networks, a Denver-based IT services company that in only 10 years of operation made Inc. Magazine's 2010 list of the 5,500 fastest growing privately held companies in the United States. Katie Reinisch recently opened a frozen yogurt shop, and we'll talk about the importance of local policies in starting and building a small business. We'll start with Richard.
Good morning. My name is Richard Lewis, and as mentioned, I'm the founder, president, and CEO of RTL Networks, based right here in Denver, Colorado. RTL Networks is an IT sales and solutions firm that focuses on providing the network infrastructure equipment that corporations need to have properly running networks and phone systems. And then we also provide the services that allow those networks to continue running and be secure. We also have an energy division, RTL Energy, that provides high voltage power distribution systems and solutions to companies across the nation. We've grown to just under 90 employees across 16 different states across the country. We're here today because we want to continue growing, and because Colorado's a small business state. What I mean by that is over 90% of the businesses in Colorado are small, with just 25 employees or less, and they want to continue growing also. Bill, they want to continue growing also. Excuse me. Just a little choked up. We expect our elected officials to pass legislation and behave in ways that support small business growth. We expect them to pass legislation that allows us to invest in our companies and our employees. That's why we were a little stunned when elected officials packed up and left at the end of the session with a lot of unfinished work to do. I'm thankful that the bill finally passed. The bill I'm speaking of is a bill that reduced the amount I pay the corporations across the state pay on unemployment insurance. We're very happy that the bill finally did pass, but there were a number of others that were not addressed. And it's a little shocking. As an owner of a business, I have employees and families that depend on me every day to rise up to the challenge, to make sure that they continue to get a paycheck, and to make sure that RTL Network stays fiscally strong and sound. And when the people that we've elected into office walk away from that responsibility, we should take notice. They should be held to the same standard as the citizens and small business owners in the state. And when they don't, they should be called out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Katie Reinisch. It's K-A-T-I-E. R-E-I-N-I-S-C-H. I'm a small business owner, just opened a new frozen yogurt shop about a mile or two down the road. And those of us who who are starting or those of us who are thinking about starting new businesses need to know that our elected officials have our best interests in mind. That wasn't the case this past legislative session when Republican leadership quit in Colorado. When I opened the frozen yogurt business, I was really excited to hire 15 young people, give them their first job, their first paycheck, which I then heard led to their first phones, and then their first rock concerts. But it was something that we were all working on together, building a small business, building job skills, building the workforce that will go on to work in big businesses and take their skills out to the next level. We were all in it together. I've kept that attitude in the past few weeks that I've been running the store, and I've been accountable to my employees, to my 15 employees. I've also been accountable to the thousands of customers. I expect that same accountability from my elected officials. I've put in long days, I've put in long nights, I've made hard decisions to launch my business, and that's my job, to face those challenges head on and to resolve those problems for the good of my business, for my employees, and my customers. Just as I'm accountable to my employees and to my customers, I expect my elected officials to be accountable to me, to the taxpayer, the small business owner, and the job creator. I count on our elected officials to work on behalf of us, to support our ability to build a Colorado with growing businesses and creative entrepreneurs. My business is moving from 15 part-time workers to full-time staff, and it's helpful to know my unemployment insurance costs will be less. I'm thankful that the legislature was forced back to work in the legislative session to do the job that I expect them to do. Maybe Republican leadership thought we weren't paying attention when they decided to stop working and allowed more than 30 bills to die at the end of the session. Well, we were paying attention, and we'll remember this fall. Those of us who are starting or even thinking about starting businesses need to know that our elected leaders have our best interests in mind. That was not the case this past legislative session when Republican leadership quit in Colorado.
I'm Joanne Schwartz with Progress Now Colorado. Across the country, we're seeing Republican leaders violate our shared values of freedom, accountability, and personal responsibility. This has effectively disenfranchised millions of Americans, including Coloradans, and destroying our notions of democracy, of, for, and by. We've seen this play out in Congress with recent votes to protect tax breaks and loopholes that benefit the wealthy, to force deep cuts in education and student loans and veterans benefits, to support a budget that would do away with Medicare as we know it, and to give subsidies to big oil companies when they are making billions in record profits. All of this to protect the tax breaks for the richest 2% of Americans and special interests who support their re-election candidates. Here in Colorado, we've seen this activity play out in several ways this past legislative session. There were several attempts to limit a woman's rights to make decisions about her body and her family. Several bills were introduced by Republicans that would repeal our existing sensible gun laws. And Republicans voted against ensuring that state tax dollars would be used to create Colorado jobs and not shipped out of state. We need legislators who are willing to ensure that preference for state government contracts are given to Colorado companies that employ Colorado workers and Colorado residents. The Colorado Accountability Project focuses on just one example, the harmful decisions by Republican leadership that brought the legislative session to a standstill, leaving dozens of bills important to Colorado jobs on the chopping block. Much of what happens at the Capitol is an insider's game that isn't very effectively communicated with the people these policies actually impact. And because of that fact, legislators sometimes think that we aren't paying attention. We're here today to let Republican legislators know that we were paying attention and we will remember this election. They must take personal responsibility for their actions and the impact that their actions have on Coloradans. We ask all Coloradans to visit ColoradoAccountabilityProject.com. Check out Campaign for a Strong Colorado's radio advertisement, share it with your friends and family, and register and verify your voting status today. I thank you very much, and Alvina